The Panasonic Leica 8-18mm f2.8-4 lens carries the aesthetic lineage of Leica design, with clean lines and minimal branding that speaks to professional subtlety. The light orange lettering and tiny red dots are the cherry on top of the matte finish, gives it a marvelously elegant look, perfectly in line with all the Panasonic/Leica aesthetic style. Attractiveness is 10 out of 10. The geometry of the barrel expands towards the outer end, encapsulating the idea of a wide-angle lens that is supposed to open up to grab more view to fit into the frame. It's beautiful, functional, and philosophically fitting for an ultra-wide lens. Alright, I just spent a whole paragraph describing the look. It's because this is the most beautiful lens design in all Micro Four Thirds zoom lens lineup in my eyes. In case you couldn't tell, I'm really in love with the shape of this particular lens. At this moment, I'm talking about the lens not from a photographer's point of view, but a collector's point of view. The existence of the Leica 8-18mm lens makes the whole Panasonic lineup more dynamic, spirited, outgoing, and complete. The 10-25mm f1.7 is also a top-tier, gorgeous lens, but the 8-18 beats it in its simplicity and compactness. Its sister lens 12-60mm f2.8-4 deserves nearly the same praise, but the barrel design of the 8-18 just makes it stand out so much more. Enough of the aesthetics. Let's circle back to being a photographer and a videographer and talk about the functionality of the lens. 8-18 provides a very typical ultra-wide zoom focal range. In full frames terms, it's 16-36mm. Right off the bat, the ultra-wide angle makes your work a lot more exciting and visually impactful. At the long end, 18mm focal length also provides a perfectly standard field of view for a lot of street photographers, so it is also very practical and versatile in day-to-day usage, unlike lenses that stops at 28mm full-frame equivalent focal length, which can feel a little bit too restricted. The excitement brought by the ultra-wide look could wear off sometimes. Sometimes I felt like there's not much I could shoot with the ultra-wide lens, because everything fits in the frame and it's hard to capture unique images in the same location over and over like standard lens could. But eventually I always come back to the 8-18 lens, especially when I'm vlogging and documenting everyday life. The 8-18 is a simple but effective weapon to capture the moment. It's hard to take the lens off my camera. This lens is internal zoom, but you do see the lens elements trombone in and out while zooming within the outer shell. On the side, it has AF/MF switch, convenient for many cameras that don't have focus mode switch on camera. Zoom ring is metal, rotates very smoothly. The 90-degree rotation is perfectly comfortable for its focal range. The focus ring is further out, on the elevated surface of the barrel, makes it easy to distinguish from the zoom ring and feels very unique. The engraved branding between zoom ring and focus ring rests nicely on the slope. Beautiful. This lens has nearly identical size and weight as Leica 12-60mm f2.8-4, means it's got a compactness advantage for daily carry, yet still delivers stellar image quality. The f2.8-4 variable aperture might be a turnoff for some people, but at this point I just accepted that Panasonic loves f2.8-f4 design, and it's got its own charm. I don't mind it, especially when you know that it's sharp wide open. At first, I thought this lens was a little bit soft, so I did a side-by-side pixel peeping test against the Leica 10-25 f1.7 lens, the king of Micro Four Thirds zoom lens image quality. The result was surprisingly even. The 8-18 is basically on par with the 10-25 in most situations, barring the 18mm. I'll talk about it in a moment. Although the 10-25mm lens also handles chromatic aberration and contrast better. If we are just talking about the sharpness, turns out that I was pixel peeping this lens so hard that it made me think it was soft. I was zooming in 300%, 500%, way beyond what was reasonable to expect from an ultra-wide lens. When you shoot the same subject with ultra-wide lens versus a standard lens, of course, the standard lens will give you much more detail, and that's the amount of detail I had in mind when I was looking at the wide-angle lens. I forgot about that. The point is, this lens is very sharp, wide open at f2.8. Stopping down to f4 or 5.6 helps you achieve better corner-to-corner sharpness due to depth of field. So what's up with the 18mm? I find my lens a little bit soft in the bottom left at 18mm, which doesn't seem to be very typical according to other online reviews. Some people report that it's sharp throughout the range. Maybe the corner gets a little bit softer. I guess I'm once again a victim of the slightly worse copy of an amazing lens. It happens, but fret not. I bought it for a wide-angle focal length, not 18mm focal length. Here I'm throwing in a comparison between the 8 to 18mm on the G9 versus the Lumix 14 to 28mm on S1R, just for fun, to appreciate the extra detail given by the 47-megapixel full-frame sensor. The Aperture f2.8-4, as I said before, I find it adequate for my use. The only gripe I have with it is that you won't find much bokeh with this lens, being an ultra-wide angle lens, unless you get really close to the subject, which you can do, because it does have an impressively close minimum focusing distance of 23 cm. You can certainly get some interesting perspective by shooting up close with ultra-wide lens. With newer Panasonic cameras, you can select linear manual focus in camera for this lens and set the rotating degrees to your liking. Very convenient for filmmakers that require precise focus pulling. Also, it is just superior user experience. The zoom is parfocal like its sister lens, the Leica 12-60 and 10-25. You can focus on anything and zoom in and out, and it won't require refocusing. Once again, a great tool for video makers. It is a highly practical and sexy lens that goes perfectly together with other panel-like lenses like the 12-60, 50-200. But what about the Leica 10-25 f1.7? Their focal ranges largely overlap each other. It all comes down to a few trade-offs. The advantage of the 8-18 is being compact and wider, and the 10-25mm f1.7 is supreme in its bright constant aperture and goes up to 25mm. In my experience, there are times where I find it difficult to decide which one to use, but it mostly comes down to the compactness and aperture brightness. If I were to travel, I would bring 8-18mm. If I were to shoot low light or need shallow depth of field, I would go with 10-25. But in the end, I find myself using the compact 8-18mm much more often. Nothing diminishes the greatness of the 10-25mm lens, but the 8-18 just makes the choice so easy by being so good looking, super wide, and compact. You pick it up and go. The readiness of this lens makes it an easy choice. To be honest, if I didn't have the 10-25mm f1.7, I'd still be perfectly happy shooting with the f2.8-4 zoom lenses plus the Leica 15mm f1.7. And if I had only the 10-25mm f1.7, which could theoretically replace a whole bunch of lenses like the Leica 8-18, 12-35, or any amount of fast prime lens in between 10-25 range, I'd still feel missing out on the compactness. That says a lot about the philosophy of lens choice. An all-in-one, all-powerful lens that beats all the other lenses isn't always necessarily the best lens for the occasion. There definitely is a strong case for the utility of a smaller, more compact lens, even if it means you have to swap lens from time to time. It's the shooting experience while the lens is on the camera that counts, more than the experience of having to swap lens on the trip. To sum it up, it's well-designed, beautiful crafted, highly practical and compact ultra-wide zoom lens. Gives all the premium features and feels without breaking a bank today. At the price of $500, $600 on the second-hand market today, amazing value for money. And if you vlog to document your daily life or shoot wide-angle landscape or any project that requires ultra-wide-angle view, this lens will stay on your camera 90% of the time. I love this lens. 10 out of 10, highly recommended. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to support my channel and my work. I'll continue to contribute to Micro Four Thirds and a Panasonic Lumix camera lens review world. Any purchase via Amazon's affiliate link below is appreciated. You don't have to buy the specific listed item as long as you click through the link and make any purchase and give me a small kickback. I'm looking to grow this channel towards more of a small part-time job than a hobby. Your support is much appreciated. Thank you.